I think it's more of a self-reflection piece that you have to look back and say, right, how did I react in that situation? Was I really vulnerable in that conversation? Or did I actually drive somebody towards an answer that I was comfortable with?
Yeah. So Craig Cockin, welcome to the Fireside Chat, Being Human.
Thank you.
We've been dying to do this one.
I've been promising for a while.
You have. It's only taken us 18 years. Listen, mate, it's brilliant to have you here. We just want to spend a bit of time talking about your journey along the way, where our paths have crossed quite a bit.
Yep.
We won't go there because there's some stories, but I do think you've got a wonderful journey that thankfully I've been part of. What I will say firstly, and I normally end with this, but I'm going to say it now, I'm very proud of you.
You'll make me cry.
And genuinely, I totally respect who you've become and what partnership we've had over the past years. So that's an important thing. So let's go way back.
Okay.
Let's go back to that South Yorkshire town.
Yep.
And explore growing up. What was it like growing up? What was school like? What was home life like?
I had a fantastic upbringing. I think amazing parents. Lived in an old pit village, little village called Swinton, and most of my family are from there. Growing up, heavily community focused, very reliant on each other. I think from a family basis, strong family connections across the village as well, and it was all for me about family and helping each other and supporting each other. It's not the most affluent area. But I think the sense of community and that strength in family and love and connection is huge for us. Going into school, I attended the local junior school, loved my time there. Sport heavily influenced what I did there. So I managed to get into the football team at a very young age. And it was a very proud moment for my dad and watching me take the field for the first time as one of the youngest in the team, but enjoyed that. Played throughout my years at Queen Street School, and then went up to Swinton Comprehensive School, where again, sport played heavily into what I did. Tried every single sport, ran competitively, played rugby to a decent level, played football to a decent level. Don't look it now, but I was quite quick back then. I could shift a little bit, so that helped in every sport, a bit athletics or football or rugby, and enjoyed cricket as well. So literally every sport that you could offer me, I took up.
Yeah.
And I guess that sports played a heavy and a big role in everything that I've done.
I think it's interesting because we've always said that we've got a similar background, and it's like listening to myself. However, I do think sport was a massive part of that kind of Yorkshire feel. It was built on team spirit, wasn't it? And you mentioned family. I think that's what you said resonates big time. Family is huge. And I'm sure it is around the country, but Yorkshire's the best county in it anyway. So
I'm biased, but yes.
Yeah, and I do think we live and breathe family. So I think that resonates, and I think it helps though that team element as well. As soon as you start getting into teams, you've already got that sense of value for what a family and a team brings. So that's a key ingredient, isn't it? It kind of flows. Yeah. So secondary school, in and around Swinton, and then we went on to a little bit bigger things, didn't we? We moved away.
I moved away, yeah. I took the opportunity to go down to Southampton for university.
Yeah.
There was a new course down there. I was actually recommended by a local PE teacher that he suggested. I was going to go into PE teaching straight away.
Yeah.
And I was going to do a PE degree, but he actually suggested that the world of sport and business is on the rise. And down at Southampton, there was a course that involved both sport and business management.
Right.
So I actually went down there. It was the first sort of course that they ran from that subject, and spent 3 years down in Southampton. So
And was that the first time away from home?
yeah, from a long perspective, that was it. It was a strange
What was that
one.
like?
I I didn't embrace it fully at first, because I was playing football also, and I was getting paid at the weekend to play football.
Yeah.
But getting from Southampton back up to South Yorkshire was difficult.
Yeah.
But the local football manager actually had a friend who worked for a trucking company. So my weekend consisted of, in the late hours of a Friday evening, jumping in a truck and then trucking 8 hours back up to South Yorkshire to play football on a Saturday and play football on a Sunday, and then jump back in that same truck and back down to Southampton overnight, to be back in Southampton ready for the lectures on Monday morning.
You've always been good at making friends with people, haven't you? Whatever the route.
Yeah, so it helped, and the travel piece, it was expensive, but actually that helped me, and I always, for my sins, took my washing back to my mum as well at that point, and but then that became a little bit too much. And then I sort of embedded myself in sort of university life a little bit more, and started to play football down there, started to play football for university, and started to spend a lot more time down there.
Quick shout out to the football team up north.
Oh, the Swinton Athletic.
Yeah.
Yeah, played Swinton Athletic long time. The Swinton Bottom Club, working men's club on Sunday.
Yeah, that's a more popular one.
Yeah, that was the one that was close to my heart. I actually went on to manage Swinton Athletic as well, and we won the local cup a couple of times, which is quite big. So yeah,
excellent.
Football's always played, and that community piece, and like I said, belonging to a team, and that camaraderie that you get from belonging to a team is huge.
Yeah, it's massive. And I think it absolutely develops you as an individual, right? Everyone will always say sport plays a part in your development. For me, it was always the team thing. It was actually not about the skill, and that comes, but being part of something that made you feel special and made you feel like part of a family was huge. You know, you'd travel anywhere to feel that, and that was the key for me.
I think so, and I think being part of a team and knowing that support structure, understanding elements of hierarchy within that team, understanding what role you play within that, and how better to bring on the other team members that are maybe having a little bit of bad time at that. All that fits, and I think it does help as a person in terms of what you can bring to a team in order to turn it from maybe a mediocre team to a high performing team.
Yeah, I like it.
And that's key, I think. The collaboration, I guess the strength to be vulnerable in those situations as well, is huge when you look at those situations, because you can't be everything to everyone, but you've got to understand the role that you can play within that team.
Yeah.
And that sometimes is a piece of self-reflection. You've got to look back and say, actually, okay, what can I offer? What are my strengths? And then what are the strengths of the people around me that we can pull out and pull together in order to create that performance?
Cocking, you're very philosophical, aren't you? It's very good.
You know that I am, but that's me.
It's very good. I love it. I completely agree. So we do our degree.
Yep.
I like the balance between sport and business, because I do remember when it came out, it was kind of fresh, and I do think it led to a much more rounded version of an individual from that business side. So you were getting that commercial angle as well of what to do. So we come back up north.
Yep. So I left the degree, and at that point I decided to follow my degree and start to go into business. And I actually started as a personal trainer.
Yeah.
Self-employed personal trainer, working up in and around the Doncaster area. There was a hotel which is now a Holiday Inn called the Moat House. They had a club Moat House.
I remember that.
Yeah. So that was my first sort of real gig that I was a personal trainer in there. Then I wanted some, I guess, guaranteed revenue in terms of my wage. I then took a job with then Granada Health and Fitness.
Wow.
Who then actually became Spirit Health and Fitness.
Yeah.
and I went on their graduate program. And my first role within the leisure industry, apart from PT, was a lifestyle consultant, working for Spirit Health and Fitness. And they put me on a program where they accelerated me through fitness instructor, lifestyle consultant, assistant manager, and then manager, and I managed a couple of their corporate facilities.
Yeah.
And then that led me to having an interview at Dearne Valley Leisure Centre.
Who was that with?
Well, that yourself interviewed me at that point.
Wow, that's where we met.
We did.
That's where we met. Yeah, I mean, so let's touch on Dearne Valley.
Yep.
I mean, I have to say it was a weird moment because I think it was probably our first key breaks within, you know, we'd done our little bits of management around, but that was almost like the clean slate moment. That was, we've got a leisure centre here that's got nothing in it, what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And it was a massive learning. Yeah. But what did I see in you?
Be careful.
I'll be careful here. What I saw in you was a determined person. I think a person who was creative. I think a person who was really committed to getting on this ladder and utilising the skill set that you had. Raw, I think was I probably told you that. Raw was a term.
Yeah.
And actually we're probably both at the same age where, you know, maybe me a couple of years older. I don't know, but I'll let people decide that one. But there was that moment where I think we had a little bit of, you know, we still had a living to have. You know, so we were at a very young age where it was good. But my God, did that Dearne Valley experience change us? I mean, we had
to learn very quickly. We walked into that building with nothing.
Yeah.
Like literally start from scratch. And it was great that we had that opportunity to open a facility like that. But it really made you think about the basics of running and operating a facility. Yeah. And actually just what you need from office desks and chairs to pull chemicals to everything. We had to do it all. And it was a very steep learning curve, but one that served me well throughout my career in terms of really having to think about it's nice that you think about some of the more advanced things in an operation, but actually the foundational pieces, you need to get those right in order to move anywhere near to where you want to be from a perfection or from a good service delivery.
Yeah, and I think where you are now, I mean, if we think about just the manufacturing element of who you work with as Life Fitness and Hammer Strength, it is that understanding of operation that not many people have. You know, we talk about it, but people don't have that operational background all the time. It's very much a sales guy on the road working for a manufacturer. Whereas if you've got that grounded level of understanding of what an operation looks like, how to man it, what to staff to look at, what you're looking for in an experience, it allows you to position it, doesn't it, so much better.
Yeah, and like you say, you come at it from a point from empathy. And you're trying to understand the operator, and actually you can, I guess, relate to that person and have you thought about this? Because I didn't, and I fell down this trap, and and you can relate to the personal experience, and it makes it a much more consultative process. And less transactional, and it's more partnership based and helping the operators in front of you almost avoid the mistakes that you made as an operator back then.
Did you think I'm saying we, do you think I think our values came out in that Dearne Valley team quite well. I think if I look about and I think about the people, we're still in touch with a few of them. Yeah. And it did make a family. So again, if you think about, that DNA coming through you, your family, I do think it lends itself constantly on your journey, doesn't it?
Yeah, I 100% believe in it. The people piece for me, and that's serving me well in my current role. We sort of changed the focus of the business and started to really work on the culture within that. And one thing that I wanted to drive was people first. Yeah. And I have an ethos, if we can look after our people internally, then they're going to look after our customers, and our customers are going to come back, and that will actually then drive performance. Whereas I think before we were very heavily focused on that performance piece without really understanding of the foundations that we needed to build from a people, a trust, a reliability perspective, and an accountability perspective in order to help our customers deliver their success.
I'm trying to keep up with all these values that you're throwing in. I mean, you are doing a great job of it. There's accountability, there's empathy, yeah, there's everything in there.
Yeah.
I think it's kudos to you, mate, because we've said this to a few of the team, i.e. the Life Fitness and Hammer Strength team, that I worked in a team alongside you at Life Fitness that had a moment in time where it was singing, everything was ticking along nicely. We were delivering numbers, and there was a great team ethic. And it probably changed, some things just become stale at times. But I think from what I've seen, and I know Cherie thinks the same, that we see that team now ticking.
Yeah.
And it's a really good vibe coming out of everybody. And again, I see the values coming out. There's empathy, there's humility. There's a caring aspect to everybody that you come across within your team that just makes you feel a little bit wanted.
Yeah.
And there's a feeling around it. So I think, again, mate, it's kudos to you for that.
And I think the overall business is in that direction as well now with Jim Pisani leading. He's very much that people focused, but then also the customer centric. So we can sort our internal house first in terms of the people, but actually then we start with the customer.
Yeah.
And we try to understand what the customer needs, wants, in order then to deliver an experience that's important to them, but also meets what they see as success, not necessarily Life Fitness and Hammer Strength version of that. It's right. What performance do you want to put to your end users, and how can we help facilitate that? Yeah. And I think that, like you say, comes from that empathy piece, that element of vulnerability. Yeah. That you might not have all the answers for that customer, but we can discover that together. Yeah. And having that trust in each other to walk that path and say, we might not got the answers for you now, but let's explore what we can do together.
I think it's a very good way of putting it. It's honesty, isn't it?
Yeah.
I ain't got all the answers. Yeah. But I'm willing to go on that
honesty
journey
and
with
trust.
you.
Then we talk about value. Honesty and trust are huge for me.
Yeah. I love it. So we've gone there.
Yep.
We've gone to Life Fitness and Hammer Strength. We're there now.
Yep.
And whilst we're there, might as well talk about it. How's the role going?
Fantastically well. I can't believe it's been 5 years now since I took over this position, which is scary. Yeah. And I've actually been at Life Fitness. This will be my 19th year that I've been at Life Fitness. But I look back and it doesn't seem that long. I think because in the first period of my employment at Life Fitness, I did move around the business. Yeah. And I did quite a few roles. Started off as territory manager, then moved on to dealer and education. From dealer and education, then moved on to a territory development manager role, and sort of worked my way up to, back in 2017, I think it was, sales director. And then did sales director for a few years, and then we hit the pandemic. And then just in December 2020, I then got offered the role of managing director. And it was an interesting time. We were in the middle of working remotely. And we were also in the middle of moving offices, because we decided to move offices. So, but I think it was the ability that the pandemic gave us to work remotely that allowed us to move out the office as well. But that was a difficult period, because not only the industry was struggling, but to build a team culture when you're all working from home and on Teams and Zoom at that time, it was difficult to try and create that camaraderie, try and create that trust within a team. But once we started to get people back into the business, we then accelerated that, and we started to really build upon some of the foundations that we'd created during the pandemic around that element of trust, transparency, and honesty, and again just the ability, especially within the senior management team, to be vulnerable. That's huge for me as well, in terms of just, we might not have all the answers, but together we'll figure this out. And I think that translates then to the customers as well that we speak to. If we've got bad news, and I always say it to the sales team, if we've got bad news, let's give it earlier, but let's also go and give it with a solution that we might have. Yeah. Because then our customers can react quick enough to anything that we might be bringing to the table. And things happen. Yeah. But it's not necessarily what happens, it's how you react to that, and what, I guess, mitigating things you can put in place in order to minimise the impact that might have on
It's
customers.
totally being human, isn't it?
Ultimately, for me, yeah.
It's simplicity.
Yeah.
And it's why we created this, because I think being human was almost lost a little bit. Like we were seeing it so much that, we were talking a different language.
Yeah.
When, if you break it down, if you're open and honest and transparent, chances are they'll get on the bus with you.
Yeah. Yeah. And we talked about it during the pandemic because we lost human connection.
Yeah.
And I think there's still an element of that with the digital world that we've got. And I see it in the younger generation and my kids specifically that communicate through digitally. That ability to have an open, honest conversation, human to human, did get lost a little bit. And I think we're finding it again, if I'm honest. And I think people are now searching out for those conversations and searching out for those individuals that they can trust, that they can be vulnerable with, and they can go on a journey together of discovery, but then also towards success that is mutually beneficial.
I love that. And it comes from that vulnerability. You touched on something. I mean, I've not heard that one certainly during these talks. The vulnerability part has not come out. I think we've heard quite a lot of the other values, but I think vulnerability is something that truly makes you honest.
Yeah.
If you get vulnerability as a foundation, it will make you very transparent, very honest, very humble.
Yeah.
But it'll also give you rewards.
Yeah.
Because you can speak on a level playing field with anybody. Because we're not better than anybody else. We're just being human.
Yeah.
And that's the key.
It is, and it sounds simple. It's not, because it takes a lot of time, dedication, and effort sometimes to be vulnerable, and a bit of bravery in there as well. And you've got to have that in order to really let your guard down in some situations.
Do you think people have to practice it?
Probably practice is probably. I wouldn't use practice. The only reason practice it strikes me connotations of authenticity. If I have to practice at something too much, am I actually being authentic in that situation?
Love that.
I think it's more of a self-reflection piece that you have to look back and say, right, how did I react in that situation? Was I really vulnerable in that conversation? Or did I actually drive somebody towards an answer that I was comfortable with?
Yeah.
And I think that the true self-reflection piece is difficult. And it's not necessarily practice, but more openness and honesty looking back through the mirror.
Yeah, no, totally. And the way that you answered it is exactly what I thought you'd say, because practice is a crap word, if I'm honest. but it almost, the self-reflection part is what no one does. Yeah, unless your mindset is you're open to it.
Yeah, and you've got to be open to feedback.
Yeah.
And something that I've said to the team as well is, what does our label say on the front of our jar? We might think we know what our label says on the front of our jar, but until we ask somebody looking back at the jar, that's when you actually get an idea of true identity. Because internally, you think, oh, this is my perception to the outside world. But actually, to get feedback from other people and peers and colleagues and customers, that then will actually paint what your label says back out. And then you can truly work on that. Rather than having that internal, no, this is me, this is what I hold true. Is that the perception that I'm giving out in the world?
Wow. What's the one piece of advice you'd give any person going down a leadership role now?
Oh, there's probably.
I'll give you three then.
Oh, no. I think, and I think it was Tom Hanks that said it. When you'll go through periods of success, and you'll also go through periods of a bit of turmoil and a bit of adversity. But I think you've got to take a step back and allow yourself to believe that this shall pass. And time will move on, and that period of adversity will move on to a period of success. But also, don't get too cocky in that moment, because this shall too pass. And then it's how you then react once that success is removed, or once that adversity is removed. How do you then react as a person or as a business once that's passed? But don't get too, I guess, self-reflective about I'm going through a bad time, I'm starting to panic, take a step back.
Yeah.
This shall pass. But then look how quickly we can get through this and how quickly we can get to success. But then how long we can maintain that success. But then don't be disheartened when success starts to diminish. You then move on to the next evolution of what you can become, or what you can become as a company.
So that's the pivot moment, isn't it? That's the agile,
yeah,
being agile with yourself.
And it's that ability to just take a step back and not be so reactive in that moment. I think the honesty and trust piece and transparency is be that. Find your authentic self and be that. Be that with friends, be that with family, be that with colleagues, be that with customers. And I think that will shine through in the quality and value of your relationships throughout life. Like we said about family. It works and transcends across all business and life. What else? I think the other thing, and it's been bred into me from my younger days, is work ethic for me.
Yeah.
It's just been, I guess, inbuilt for me that's a given. That's a table stakes for me that my work ethic is up there, because if I do it, then then I'd like to think that people can follow that as well.
Yeah, like the Pied Piper moment.
Yeah.
I get that, and I think you're right. I think, if you, I mean, you've said 2 already. I was going to ask you for 3 elements of what you would, what you'd want to see in someone, and that is, work ethic.
Yeah.
That humble transparency, honesty. And I think the third one, what would be the third one that you would give, like, as a value that you're really looking for? Vulnerability, probably.
I guess the vulnerability piece, but also backed with ambition.
Nice.
I like to see ambition in people, and I like learning from people. And sometimes you think you've got a solution, but then listening to other people within your team that comes at it from a totally different angle. But having that growth mindset to really think about what's the next, and the ability to not just react in the moment, but then look forward a couple of years and saying, right, what do we now need to do in order to get to this North Star that we want to achieve? And how to reverse engineer that, either personally or professionally, in order to deliver where we want to be. And that comes from that ambitious growth mindset.
Nice.
And looking at the possibility of yes, rather than downward spiral thinking and saying, oh, we've done this before, I've tried it failed. For me, it's an opportunity that we need to look at that.
Yeah, shape it.
Yeah, and finding a way to say yes as well. It might not be the right yes, but we can get there positively.
Yeah, nice. Nice, Craig. You are on fire, son. I'm not going to lie. Let's just touch on family to finish with. I know family means the world to you, and we share something much in common, a son's name.
Yep.
Which I did thank you. I'll put on record. I thank you for, because it was you and Aaron Williams.
Yep.
That's where Aaron's name came from.
It did, absolutely.
So we share that. How are they doing? How's the kids?
They're good. I was talking earlier how quickly it goes by, and you've got to grab every moment that you can with them. My son's 23 this year, and my daughter will be 21. So they're mini adults now, and the time that you get with them is precious. Yeah. And it's funny because you sort of lose them through the teenage years, where you get a couple of grunts and a couple of dirty looks and side-eye views.
Sheree knows about that.
But it's and I think now I'm sort of getting them back where they're wanting to spend time with me as well, which is nice.
And what do they think of Dad? What do you think they think of Dad?
I would hope that everything that I've just said on how I want to perceive and what my label says on the front is what they would say about me, in terms of that honesty, transparency. My kids will know fairly quickly where I am with a point, in terms of, this is my opinion, guys, and you know where I'm coming from, because I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah. And I would hope that they do that back. So I would hope that he's a good guy, he's an honest guy, he works hard, and he values family heavily.
Nice. Well, it's, listen, DNA, mate, isn't it? DNA. What's next? What's next?
Well,
and I don't mean that in that we're not announcing he's leaving or anything like that. What's next for Craig? What do you want to do?
I want to continue the journey that I'm on with Life Fitness and Hammer Strength, and it's actually it's a really good time to be at Life Fitness and Hammer Strength. We're on an amazing trajectory. We've got a fantastic portfolio of products, and then some things in the pipeline coming down the line are really exciting as well. I've also got a slightly different role as well with Life Fitness, so I expanded my role. I also look after our digital experience team and our digital experience managers. So that's pushing me into some different conversations. And that's, again, exciting. I've seen our roadmap on what we're going to do digitally, how we're enhancing our ecosystem right now, but also looking at, like I said, the ability to look forward a couple of years and what is the next, and how do we not only adapt to that, but how do we push the boundaries of that in terms of innovation and driving that industry message.
I like it that it's still on that trajectory, right? You are still looking for that next thing within the business, which is keeping it alive, keeping you real.
Well, I can't say that I'd look for ambition in a person and not have it myself. So
you're right there, mate. You're right.
Yeah.
Listen, Craig, I'm going to say it again. It's an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
One, to know you as a mate, but to have you and see what you're doing, but have you on the podcast, I think we made it happen.
We did.
We got there in the end.
I'm sorry it took so long.
No, I probably still owe you a dinner.
You do actually. Yeah.
Do I still owe you a dinner from
you do.
18 years ago, 19 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll make that happen at some point. I'll get round to it in the year 2030 or something like that. But, mate, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure, and we'll speak soon.
Thank you for hosting me. Thank you.